Single Mom's Amazing Journey, discovered that her quiet landlord was a hidden billionaire. Sarah looked around their cramped apartment, her heart racing as autumn winds tore through the trees outside. Every inch of the faded wallpaper echoed the struggles of the past few years, and the idea of losing it all was suffocating. She could hear Lily's laughter filtering in from the living room, the sweet sound a stark contrast to the panic swelling inside her. A letter lay open on the kitchen table, and its words threatened to unravel everything: foreclosure. Her mind raced, grappling with the weight of uncertainty. How could she keep their home? How could she explain this to Lily? With each tick of the clock, seconds felt like hours. The diner would shut its doors soon, and here she was worrying about keeping a roof over her daughter's head while managing work, school projects, and endless laundry. As a single mom, Sarah always held her head high. She believed in hard work, honesty. But society's judgment often stung. "Why can't you just find a man to help?" they whispered. The thought caught in her throat like a bitter pill. For her, it was never about finding someone to help. It was about providing for Lily alone, no matter how much the world scrutinized her situation. A sudden rainstorm rumbled outside, and the sound pulsed through her ears. Her sanctuary reminded her of the chaos just beyond the door. Just as she finished hurriedly preparing dinner, her phone buzzed. It was Mr. Thompson, their landlord, with a few words: "Can we talk?" Her stomach knotted. Polite pleasantries were not enough to mask the gravity beneath those words. She wondered briefly about his life, what made him so detached. That day-to-day distance felt self-imposed, as if shielding both of them from the reality of their respective struggles. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The pounding rain seemed unrelenting as she braved the storm just to breathe some crisp air outside. Standing by the porch comes Mr. Thompson, looking worried instead of indifferent, a striking contrast to his usual demeanor. "I'm concerned about the building, Sarah," he began, shuffling his feet as if unsure of sharing more. He seemed almost human as he shared the truth about community ties, a history Barry had never guessed from the often misunderstood figure. "It's not just bricks and mortar, it's home," he said, and inside Sarah something shifted. They spoke for a while, hearts laid bare in the rain-soaked air. But when he revealed a connection to her late husband, those walls she'd built suddenly threatened to crumble. The man she thought she knew was now intertwined in her past, pulling at threads she wasn't ready to unravel. The weight of his honesty ignited a turmoil of hope and doubt within her. Accepting any help from someone who could easily be branded privileged felt like a compromise of her very principles. This unexpected connection had morphed her dilemma into something far more complex. Questions crowded her mind. Could she trust him? Did she dare trust anyone, even herself? Her heart yearned for relief, yet a flicker of pride whispered she should figure this out alone. In that moment, surrounded by the storm, Sarah stood at a crossroads, deeper fears grasping her than ever before. Would seeking help from Mr. Thompson truly offer her the future she desired, or doubly tie her to a haunting past she had fought so hard to escape? The wind howled outside, rattling the windows as Sarah stood in the threshold of her cramped apartment, caught between fear and a surprising glimmer of hope. She shifted her gaze back to Mr. Thompson, whose expression revealed layers of complexity she had never allowed herself to consider. This was not merely a businessman but a man grappling with the same life's fragility that colored her own existence. Yet, the ghosts of her past loomed large, shadows cast by the memories of a life disrupted by loss. "What do you mean you knew him?" Sarah's voice trembled, barely above a whisper. The tightness in her chest began to ease, though apprehension still tinged her every word. Mr. Thompson took a cautious step forward. "Barry and I were friends many years ago. We lost touch, but I remember the family he wanted dearly. You and Lily are the essence of his hopes, even now." The sincerity in his eyes struck a chord in Sarah's heart, yet another question formed, one she dreaded to voice. Why was he speaking about her late husband as if he understood the depths of her sorrow? Barely able to contain her surge of emotions, Sarah felt torn between gratitude and skepticism. Did Mr. Thompson truly want to help, or did he merely want to alleviate his own guilt tied to an old friendship? "This house means everything to me," she asserted, anchoring her resolve. "I will not let you save me unless you can assure me it does not come at a cost." The looming threat of foreclosure was not just a financial reality but a reminder of her struggle, her identity, the independence she had fought to maintain. Trust was not a gift but a precarious bridge, precariously formed in the aftermath of betrayal. "Trust is earned, Sarah," he replied softly, a strange vulnerability weaving through his tone. "I don't have all the answers, but I want to help you and Lily keep your home safe." His proposition seemed innocuous, but fear clawed at her insides. Could she stake her future on someone so seemingly detached from her day-to-day battles? The conflict within her swirled like the winds outside, dark and tempestuous, yet revealing a path forward. "Every day is a push for me. I work at the diner, I juggle school, Lily's needs," Sarah confessed, hoping to unveil the raw truth of her existence. "Relying on anyone else feels like surrendering everything I've worked for. I can't be weak." Mr. Thompson nodded, acknowledging the enormity of her struggle and respecting the pride that underpinned her defiance. "But all of us need help sometimes, Sarah. The strongest people are those who know when to seek support." That notion, however uncomfortable, seeded something inside her. Could she redefine her understanding of strength? Accepting help didn't mean she was weak, perhaps it meant there was courage in vulnerability. It was a startling realization that prickled at her, yet its warmth fought against her long-held reservations. "I'll think about what you said." The words tumbled out, surprising even her. A glimmer of possibility flickered, urging her to explore the contours of her own strength differently. As Mr. Thompson turned to leave, something caught his eye. "If you ever feel overwhelmed," he paused, offering a final piece of advice, "look at it this way. Every storm passes. You just have to navigate through it." The door clicked shut behind him, leaving Sarah with a silence that felt heavier than the rain still drumming outside. She realized that the turmoil of her emotions mirrored the storm, dangerous yet cleansing. With a new perspective, her conflict shifted from protecting herself from potential pain to questioning how she could leverage this new connection for growth. In that moment of calm amongst chaos, her phone buzzed again. It was Lily, wanting to show her something from school, innocently demanding her attention. The little girl was a beacon of light, pushing Sarah's resolve to find a way, any way, forward. Through the storm, clarity filtered in, challenging her to confront her anxieties not just about Mr. Thompson, but about the path ahead. The following days would not be easy, and decisions loomed ahead. Could she truly forge a new direction through vulnerability and trust? But the pull of Mr. Thompson lingered, forcing Sarah to confront her fears. The moment to decide was approaching, and she felt the urgent weight of action beckoning her forward, to confront the realities of her choices. What would her answer be? The morning sun pierced the clouds, casting a warm glow across the apartment that had felt so suffocating just days before. Sarah stood by the kitchen window, staring out at the world, yet feeling distinctly apart from it. The chaos stirred within her, doubt mingled with newfound determination. She had spent so long keeping everything at arm's length, but Mr. Thompson's words reverberated deep inside. Could she really navigate through the tumultuous storm of her life? Her phone buzzed, dragging her back into reality. It was a message from Lily's school about the upcoming parent-teacher conference. The prospect of attending filled her with an urgency to not only make it work for Lily but also to shift her narrative from being simply a survivor to becoming someone who could thrive. As she poured herself a cup of coffee, the rich aroma filled her senses, pushing away some of the lingering shadows. Sarah thought about Mr. Thompson's offer. She hated feeling helpless, but accepting help might mean unlocking new potential she didn't know she had. That afternoon, she decided to tackle her insecurities head-on. She hopped on the bus after her shift at the diner and headed toward the neighborhood library. She needed to understand her situation better, and perhaps, to build a strategy that could allow her to accept assistance without feeling diminished. Sitting at a desk surrounded by towering shelves, a wave of determination washed over her. She opened her laptop and began researching financial assistance programs for single mothers and foreclosure prevention resources. Each click felt like a small act of rebellion against the fears that chained her down. Hours passed as she delved into information she never realized would empower her, uncovering various grants and local community resources that might not only alleviate her financial burden but offer a support network. It was exhilarating to step into this new phase, where knowledge became her shield. As she sifted through forms and criteria, a revelation struck her. She had always navigated life fearing the what-ifs, but now was the time to challenge herself. She couldn't let her past define her. Each decision could create a new pathway, a way to forge a brighter future for her and Lily. The thought stirred excitement, but deep inside, doubt still lingered, gnawing at her resolve. What if this didn't work? What if the help she sought came with strings attached? She brewed a fresh pot of coffee when she got home, her anxiety now invading the familiar warmth of her kitchen. Lily burst through the door, her unfiltered joy injected life into the air. "Mom! Look what I made at school today!" she exclaimed, brandishing a vibrant drawing of a house with a big sun smiling over it. In that moment, Sarah felt a rush of clarity. The sacrifices she made were not just for survival but to ensure Lily felt loved and secure. The connection between them, forged through struggles and laughter, began to blaze brightly with new understanding. She could do this. It wasn't just about getting by but creating a home filled with hope and resilience. Determined to put her plans into action, Sarah pulled out her phone to message Mr. Thompson. It was time to confront the realities she had been avoiding. She needed to articulate what she envisioned for their future, but she also needed to listen. As she drafted the message, she stopped mid-sentence. The thought of accepting help still felt grotesque, but having Mr. Thompson's perspective could ease some of that. Perhaps a conversation could translate the abstract anxieties into tangible actions. Seizing the moment, she pressed send, then exhaled deeply as a sense of empowerment swelled within. The days ahead would bring a crossroads she could not predict, and tension bubbled beneath her calm facade. Yet, it ignited within her an exploration of personal agency and a deep-rooted need to make this work for herself and Lily. Just before going to bed, a reminder flashed across her screen: parent-teacher conference tomorrow. As sleep enveloped her, the haunting echo of past failures clung to her thoughts. But the foundation she was beginning to build, the knowledge, the support, the emerging confidence, could reshape her narrative. The moment to seize her future was approaching, and so was an opportunity to put her newfound perspective to the test with Mr. Thompson. Would she have the courage to step out of her comfort zone again? As her eyes drifted shut, uncertainty hung in the air like an unfinished promise, a new chapter just waiting to unfold. The next morning, Sarah awoke to an overcast sky, an ominous reminder of her mounting worries. The parent-teacher conference loomed ahead, and the weight of expectation pressed heavily on her shoulders. She quickly showered, deliberately breathing in the warmth of the water as it cascaded down, trying to wash away her doubts. After getting dressed, she took a few moments in front of the mirror, attempting to muster a sense of confidence. Just as she was about to leave, Lily bounded down the hall, her backpack bouncing against her small frame. "Mom! I wish you could come to my class today," she squeaked, eyes shining bright. "I'll be there, sweetheart." Just a little later for a different meeting, Sarah replied, smoothing her hair back. The sparkle in Lily's eyes reminded Sarah of her purpose, igniting a flicker of determination that replaced her earlier trepidation. The drive to the school felt like traversing through a fog, each turn contributing to her rising anxiety. Questions whirled in her mind. What would the teachers think of her? Would they respect her struggle, or view her as just another statistic? She had often felt like a ghost in a world buzzing with vibrant life, but today, she decided, she would fight to be seen. As she stepped into the school's entrance, the echo of children's laughter resonated through the corridors, a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside her. Navigating the throng of other parents, she felt the familiar twinge of insecurity. With every glance down at her faded sneakers, the memories of all her unfulfilled expectations crept back. Debts, lost opportunities, and broken dreams. The classroom door opened into a welcoming space filled with colorful artwork plastered across the walls, each piece radiating creativity and individuality. Sarah approached Mrs. Adams, Lily's teacher, who greeted her with a warm smile, easing her tension slightly. "Sarah. It's great to finally meet you," Mrs. Adams said, gesturing for her to sit down at a small table. "Thank you for having me," Sarah replied, gathering her thoughts. As the conversation began, Mrs. Adams praised Lily's creativity and enthusiasm in class. The teacher's encouragement served to bolster Sarah's confidence, slowly peeling away the layers of her uncertainty. They talked about Lily's progress, but an undercurrent of Sarah's own ambition simmered beneath each acknowledgement of praise. When it came time for her to speak about herself, she hesitated. "I am trying to do my best as a single mom, and I just want to make sure I'm making the right decisions for Lily. It's been tough." The honesty of her admission hung in the air, each word laced with vulnerability. Mrs. Adams nodded, compassion filling her eyes. "That honesty is what's going to make a difference. You're not alone, Sarah. It's okay to ask for help. There are resources available, and stepping outside that comfort zone can open doors for both of you." Gradually, the weight on Sarah's shoulders lightened. With each moment spent articulating her fears and aspirations, she discovered more about herself, each statement a liberation from her self-imposed limitations. Later, as she walked back to her car, the world around her seemed different. The clouds hadn't parted, but something inside Sarah had shifted. She felt lighter, empowered by the exchanged understanding. Maybe it was okay to rely on others sometime. She could be a mother and still embrace her own needs. With renewed resolve, Sarah drove towards the diner, her mind spinning with ideas. She wanted to do more than just survive, she sought to thrive. As she parked the car, she remembered her message to Mr. Thompson. What advice could he offer her that would further her newfound insights? Was he really the advocate she presumed him to be, or was he just a kind landlord? As she stepped inside, ready to take the day by storm, her phone buzzed. A new text from Mr. Thompson flashed on the screen, teasing the prospect of their conversation later. The thought ignited her curiosity. What if today was the day that everything changed? What if he held the missing piece to her puzzle? Alongside the anticipation, uncertainty gripped her again. Would she be able to confront him candidly? Would reaching out to someone she hadn't expected help her redefine her narrative once more? As she entered the diner, the clatter of dishes and chatter of customers enveloped her, but she remained aware that the real chaos of her life was just beginning to unfold. The next few hours might bring about a breakthrough or push her further into her fears. And in that swirling uncertainty, she felt the foundation of her journey becoming solidified, ready to be tested once again as another pivotal conversation loomed ahead. Would she find the courage to open up to Mr. Thompson and explore the unknown boundaries of her emerging potential? As Sarah settled into a booth in the diner, the comforting smell of freshly brewed coffee infused the air, sharpening her senses. She noticed the bustling activity around her, waitstaff weaving through tables, patrons engrossed in conversations, and the clinking of silverware creating a lively rhythm. Yet amidst this vibrant tableau, she felt the weight of expectation shifting from the outside to an inner turmoil, progressively intensifying. She pulled out her phone, her finger hovering over Mr. Thompson's message. "Hey Sarah, looking forward to our chat today. Let us meet at 2 p.m. The brevity of the text offered no assurance, fueling her apprehension rather than dispelling it. What if he was just a facade of kindness, an illusion obscuring deeper intentions? Was it foolish to pin her hopes on an acquaintance she hardly knew? Already, her mind spun with potential outcomes, each scenario more daunting than the last. In those moments, her self-doubt crept in, threatening to overshadow the flicker of determination sparked by her earlier conversation with Mrs. Adams. To regain her focus, she took a deep breath, recalling the enduring qualities she'd begun to uncover: the willingness to be vulnerable, to seek assistance, and the open-mindedness to redefine her narrative. Couldn't she view this conversation as an extension of that growth? The idea settled softly in her thoughts, challenging her fears. Before she could overthink it further, Sarah forced herself to engage in the present, her gaze drifting to the large window. Outside, raindrops began to fall, and there was something almost poetic in their descent, a reminder that even the darkest days could produce beauty. Perhaps there was a parallel to her own life, where every hardship could be transformed into something meaningful. That realization revitalized her resolve. The minutes passed, each tick of the clock amplifying her anxious anticipation until it was almost unbearable. Finally, 2 p.m. arrived. She spotted Mr. Thompson entering the diner, his tall silhouette framed against the doorway. He scanned the room and approached her with a confident stride, a warm smile replacing her apprehension with an unexpected sense of comfort. "Sarah. Sorry to keep you waiting. I hope you don't mind, I ordered us some coffee," he said, sliding into the booth across from her. His easy demeanor set a casual tone, and Sarah felt a ripple of ease wash over her. "Not at all, thank you," she replied, noticing how his presence eased the tension that had been building since she walked in. As they chatted about mundane topics, Sarah's mind raced, searching for the right moment to delve deeper, to express her desires for change and growth. The coffee cups were soon empty, but her intention remained unspoken, lingering between them like an unacknowledged truth. "What's really on your mind, Sarah?" Mr. Thompson asked suddenly, his gaze piercing yet inviting. Caught off guard, she hesitated, her heart pounding in her chest. This was the opening she'd been searching for, yet doubt gripped her, urging her to retreat to the safety of the familiar. Was she truly ready to expose her vulnerabilities to someone who had offered little more than a mentor's guidance? But what if he was precisely who she needed? What if he could help her harness the potential flickering in her heart? With her pulse racing, she pushed back her fear, allowing a mixture of hope and apprehension to fuel her next words. "I've been thinking a lot about where I am in life, and I'm ready for a change. I want to do more than just go through the motions. I need to figure out how to make a better life for me and Lily." His expression became serious, as if he was measuring the weight of her words. "That's a great start," he said finally. "But sometimes, taking control starts with finding out what you really want." His response sparked something within her. A tidal wave of longing for clarity washed through her, shifting her from defensiveness to determination. Could this be a crucial turning point? The moment where she transformed not only her narrative but the way she perceived herself in the world? As the conversation deepened, her uncertainties began to evolve. The questions she'd carried transformed into resolute potential, igniting an inner fire. Would she uncover paths she never considered? And what if the deeper truths of Mr. Thompson's life held the key to unlocking her aspirations? Yet as she began to comprehend the enormity of what was unfolding between them, a new unspoken question lingered in the air: was she truly prepared for what she might uncover about him and herself as they continued to explore this uncharted territory together? As Mr. Thompson leaned in, his focus unwavering, Sarah felt a rush of vulnerability creeping back in, but this time, she allowed it to fuel her resolve rather than stifle it. What did she want? The question hung between them, heavy with possibilities. This was not just a conversation, it was a crossroads. "I want to feel like I'm moving forward," she admitted, the words tumbling out before she could second-guess herself. There was a weight in her voice, an urgency that revealed the desperation behind her calm facade. I want to build a future for Lily and me, and I just don't know where to begin. Mr. Thompson nodded, his expression softening. Let us start small. What sort of life do you envision for yourselves? Imagine a day where everything aligns with that vision, he encouraged. A vivid image flickered through her mind. She saw herself waking up in a cozy home filled with laughter, the scent of breakfast wafting through the air. Lily, with her hair in playful disarray, would come rushing in to hug her, full of joy and enthusiasm. That image sent a thrill coursing through her. This was her motivation, the driving force behind her desire for change. I want to provide her with stability, to show her that dreams can come true with hard work, Sarah continued, her voice gaining strength. I want her to know it's okay to strive for what you want. Exactly, he replied, encouragingly. You have the determination. Now it's about channeling that energy. Part of that is being strategic about your next steps. His perspective shifted something within her. She was used to operating with only the immediate concerns of survival, the bills, the groceries, the routines. But in this moment, he was presenting her with an opportunity to dream unabashedly, to plan rather than just react. What if I told you that we can develop a plan together? He leaned back slightly, offering her space, as if he needed her to acknowledge the offer fully. Tell me how you envision getting there, let us dismantle it into actionable steps. She hesitated, still feeling boundaries formed from her past dictate her thoughts. But I don't know what skills I even have that could help. I've just been so focused on surviving. Surviving requires a set of skills not everyone possesses, he interjected gently. Resilience, adaptability, resourcefulness, they're all assets. Identify the strengths you already have. A wave of realization crashed over her. Perhaps she had honed talents she never identified as strengths. Her ability to juggle tight schedules, her knack for managing finances on limited income, even the persuasive way she consolidated bills with utility companies all formed the foundation of her potential. Mr. Thompson continued, think about your life experiences, the challenges you've faced. Every struggle has taught you something. Don't underestimate your journey. Sarah's heart surged as clarity filled the void typically reserved for self-doubt. Reflecting on her past work in customer service, her knack for negotiation, and how she navigated complex personal logistics, it felt like a treasure map. Maybe I can explore opportunities in management or sales, she pondered, her mind racing with anticipation at the possibility of career paths previously shrouded in fear. He smiled, seeing the spark ignite within her. That's the spirit, Sarah. Start researching what's out there. Perhaps consider classes or mentorship programs. You could reach out to local businesses to see if they need help. Every little thing can ripple into something larger. The notion of reaching out to others felt foreign yet remarkably liberating. She was always hesitant to ask for help, yet here was a moment urging her to embrace connections. But as they spoke, a shadow flitted through her imagination. What if this was just another false start, another conversation with no real consequence? The anxiety crept back, coiling tightly as she fought to maintain the momentum building inside her. Just don't let fear drown out your potential, Mr. Thompson cautioned, sensing the shift. Fear is a reality you'll need to confront repeatedly once you decide to move forward. Identify it, name it, then push beyond it. His words resonated, establishing a deeper connection. She needed to be intentional about facing her fears, shoving them aside with grit instead of letting them dictate her actions. The diner buzzed around them, oblivious to the magnitude of their conversation, yet somehow the voices faded into a background hum. What lay before her felt monumental, but the prospect of even contemplating this change ignited a hunger for growth that made her dare to hope again. Thank you for this, she said, her voice steady and sincere. I'm ready to put in the work. I want to see what I'm capable of. Just as she spoke the words, a question settled like a weight in her mind. What else was she capable of uncovering? That intrigue lingered, beckoning her to delve deeper into the unknowns ahead. As the discussion circled back to potential next steps, a troubling realization began to dawn on her. what if, amidst her quest for clarity, unearthing Mr. Thompson's hidden layers held not just guidance, but secrets that could alter her course indefinitely. The following days unfolded in a haze of newfound ambition and lingering doubts. Sarah immersed herself in research, diving into opportunities that felt both thrilling and terrifying. Each late evening, after tucking Lily into bed, she sat hunched over her laptop, scrolling through job listings and online courses. The bright screen illuminated her determined facade but couldn't dispel the shadows of uncertainty creeping in from all sides. One morning, while cooking pancakes, she mulled over the inevitable question that haunted her resolve. What if she failed? The thought gnawed at her, threatening to derail the momentum she had built with Mr. Thompson's encouragement. "Mom! Are we having playtime today?" Lily's voice, sweet and innocent, broke through her spiraling thoughts. She turned, forcing a smile, eager to redirect the energy into something uplifting. "Of course, sweetie," Sarah replied, her heart fluttering at the thought of covering the morning with laughter and games. "After breakfast, how about we build a fort?" The upcoming playtime felt critical. It was a chance to reconnect, to show Lily that dreaming big was not just for adults. Perhaps with time, Sarah would trickle her own aspirations into their games, planting seeds of confidence in the fertile ground of her daughter's imagination. As they built the fort, pillows stacked high and sheets draped over kitchen chairs, Sarah's gaze drifted outside. The world beyond their small apartment buzzed with potential, and with each passing minute, her heart raced, longing to step out of that comforting chaos and pursue a life that resonated with purpose. Late that evening, emboldened by her resolve, she crafted an email to a local business that had caught her eye. The message was a blend of inquiry and assurance, showcasing her skills and willingness to learn. "Just hit send," she muttered, a slight tremor in her hand as she hovered over the button. Clenching her jaw, she did it. The weight of the message went beyond mere words. She felt as if she was launching herself into the unknown. Within 24 hours came a response, and a flood of exhilaration coursed through her veins. The owner expressed interest in meeting to discuss a part-time position. This felt like a turning point. Yet juxtaposed with that excitement was an undercurrent of fear woven into the very fabric of her civility, a warning to stay rooted, to not reach too far. Despite the terror, however, she acknowledged that her trajectory had shifted, like a ship finally catching the wind. She had taken a step forward, however uncertain. But then came the moment she hadn't expected, a phone call from Mr. Thompson. "Sarah, can we meet again?" His voice was steady but his tone hinted at a weighty matter. "I have something important I think you should know about." Her pulse quickened at the sudden urgency in his request. "Is everything okay?" Yes, everything is fine. It's about a path forward for you. I think there might be an opportunity worth discussing, something that could align perfectly with what we talked about." Her heart struck a discordant chord as anticipation mixed with fear. What could this opportunity be? Could it propel her career aspirations, or would it unearth unpredictable complexities that could hinder her journey? Later that week, they met at the diner once more. The atmosphere was thick with expectation, a weight so palpable that the clamor of conversation drifted away. Mr. Thompson seated himself across from her, intense yet approachable. "Before we dive into specifics," he began, "I want to ask, what else are you willing to decide on for yourself? What risks are you prepared to take?" His questions hung in the air, tinged with possibility. Sarah felt the familiar rush of vulnerability now laced with urgency. Here it was, the moment of truth. "I need to be ready to accept not just success but failure," she admitted, her breath hitching at the thought. "But I don't know if I can." His eyes remained fixed on her, a mixture of encouragement and scrutiny at the crossroads they faced. "Every potential route has its shadows, Sarah. The question is, do you want to face them head-on?" In that instant, the corners of her ambition began to unfurl within her, battling the lingering shadows of doubt. She had a decision to make, and it felt monumental. What had she truly uncovered about herself? Could the future promise more than she ever anticipated? The answers whispered temptingly at the edges of her awareness, teasing her with visions of what could be. Just as the waitress approached their booth with 2 steaming cups of coffee, the light catching Mr. Thompson's face illuminated an undeniable truth: some secrets aren't what they seem. And beneath his surface lay layers of complexity she hadn't yet grasped. Was she ready to uncover those layers, risking not just her aspirations, but her entire understanding of this man who had become her mentor? The moment Sarah returned home from her meeting with Mr. Thompson, the walls of her small apartment seemed to close in on her. Unsure of how to process their conversation, she paced in the dimly lit living room while Lily colored quietly at the kitchen table. Each footstep echoed with the weight of decisions yet to be made. What risks was she genuinely willing to take? The idea played on a loop in her mind, blurring the lines between ambition and fear. She could easily slip back into the safety of the familiar, cooking for Lily, reading bedtime stories, and watching the same animated movies for the 100th time. But was that what she truly wanted? Leaving the constraints of her comfort zone felt daunting. Yet the thought of becoming stagnant tugged at her heart like an anchor. Sarah stopped pacing, her gaze settling on Lily's tiny fingers gripping a crayon, lost in her own little world. The realization hit her hard: it was not just about her aspirations anymore, but also about the foundation she wanted to build for Lily's dreams. The next day, she found herself at the community center for a workshop dedicated to skill development. Surrounded by fellow attendees, each one navigating their own journeys, Sarah felt the anxiety in her chest lighten. As the instructor encouraged them to share, she hesitated, grappling with the fear of vulnerability. "I've been a stay-at-home mom for years," she finally blurted out, her voice cracking slightly. "I want to start fresh, but I don't know where to begin." A supportive murmur rippled through the room, and when she glanced around, she saw mirrored expressions of encouragement. It was then she understood: vulnerability didn't equate to weakness. Instead, it carved pathways to connection and empathy. There was strength in claiming her truth, and perhaps the first step forward lay in admitting her uncertainties. After the workshop, she connected with a few participants. Among them was Maya, a spirited woman with an infectious enthusiasm for entrepreneurship. "Start small," Maya advised, her eyes bright. "Find something you're passionate about, then let that guide you." The conversation sparked inspiration in Sarah. Her thoughts raced back to her love for writing, a talent she de-shelved after becoming a mother. Maybe she could combine her skills with her experiences, creating content that resonated with other women in similar situations. But doubt resurfaced, whispering stark questions. Could she handle this new venture alongside her responsibilities as a mother? Was there an audience for her voice? That evening, while Lily drew, Sarah sat at the kitchen table, a laptop open in front of her. With a deep breath, she Googled freelance writing opportunities. As she began typing, nerves danced in her stomach, taking her back to that moment of hitting send on her job inquiry. The first search results were disheartening. Many listings requested far more experience than she had. A wave of discouragement washed over her, and she closed the laptop, feeling defeated. But the echo of Maya's words rang in her ears: start small. What if she wrote a blog to share her journey? To express her fears and dreams? The thought ignited a flicker of excitement. It could be a space to explore her thoughts while connecting with other moms striving for more. She opened the laptop again, fingers hovering over the keyboard. It felt monumental, a leap into a world of possibility. Before she could talk herself out of it, Sarah typed the title of her first post: A Single Mom's Journey, Finding Purpose. Just as she reached the conclusion, her phone buzzed with a text from Mr. Thompson, a gentle nudge to ask how she was doing. The timing felt surreal, almost conspiratorial. As she read his message, another layer of complexity unfolded in her mind. Why did he reach out? Did he sense her hesitation? Perhaps beneath his role as a mentor was a deeper investment in her journey that she had yet to understand. Suddenly, her decision to explore the writing realm felt layered with implications beyond mere self-expression. What if she discovered truths about herself and Mr. Thompson that neither of them anticipated? With a renewed sense of determination, she closed her laptop, ready to embrace whatever challenges loomed ahead. The next step was clear: she needed to meet with Mr. Thompson again. Not just to discuss opportunities, but to confront the hidden depths she sensed lurking beneath the surface of their mentor-mentee dynamic. As she plotted her course forward, the urgency for clarity surged within her, ready to uncouple the threads of uncertainty. What revelations awaited her on this new path? As Sarah prepared to meet Mr. Thompson again, she found herself torn between excitement and trepidation. Her mind spun with possibilities, each one more daunting than the last. The meeting would not just be an opportunity to inquire about mentorship or freelance opportunities, it was an exploration of something deeper. What if Mr. Thompson held answers to questions she hadn't even formed yet? After the initial wave of anticipation, doubt trickled in. What if he saw her as just another well-meaning yet naive mother, attempting to pivot towards self-actualization? Still, what was worse, living a life of complacency or facing the uncomfortable truths that lay ahead? She arrived at the small cafe where they had decided to meet, her palms sweaty against the cool surface of the table as she sat down. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, but all Sarah could focus on was the fluttering in her stomach. Moments later, Mr. Thompson stepped into the cafe with an ease that captured her attention first. He looked every bit the professional she remembered, yet there was a warmth in his approach that softened the edges of their earlier, more formal interaction. With a friendly smile, he slid into the seat opposite her, and the small talk felt almost effortless. "I hope you've been well," he began, sipping his coffee. "Trying to find my footing," she replied, instinctively peeling the label off her drink. "Navigating motherhood while pursuing a career is a balancing act," he acknowledged, his eyes twinkling with understanding. "But it sounds like you're taking steps in the right direction." The compliment, while kind, weighed heavily on her. "But are those steps enough? I mean, I have this overwhelming urge to write, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm not qualified. What if I fail? Or worse, what if no one cares about what I have to say?" Instead of dismissing her fears, he leaned in closer, his demeanor earnest. "Sarah, the importance of your voice lies not in its formality but in its honesty. Authenticity resonates more than you might realize." His words struck her at her core. The barriers of self-doubt began to crack ever so slightly, allowing threads of courage to weave through. "But how do I find that authenticity? I have so many layers of fear about writing, raising Lily, just everything." "Start by embracing those layers. They are part of your story. Believe me, the more you delve into your experiences, the more you will realize the depth of your insights. Think of yourself not just as a mother or a writer, but as a storyteller. Every experience has the potential to become a meaningful narrative." Feeling invigorated, Sarah took a deep breath. "So, where do I begin? Should I focus on personal anecdotes or more general advice? Why not both? Personal stories inherently offer universal truths, and your unique perspective as a single mother will likely resonate with countless others." He paused, as if weighing his next words. "You even have the chance to connect with an audience of women facing similar struggles. Perhaps even engage with them in a way that fosters community." The word community echoed in her mind, but she swiftly brushed past it. The essence of their conversation was about her journey, her individual growth. "Would you be open to giving me feedback on what I write? Just to have some reassurance?" Mr. Thompson nodded, a slow smile breaking on his face. "Consider it a mentorship, but remember this: the journey is yours to navigate. I can guide you, but your path is uniquely your own." Sarah felt an enormous weight lift. "Thank you. I needed that more than you know. It's just, I often feel lost, like I'm not enough." In that moment, she recognized that she was not alone. Inspired by Mr. Thompson's honesty and encouragement, she felt a flicker of ambition ignite within her. Each story she would tell, every word she would write, could emerge from that very place of vulnerability. The conversation shifted, moving beyond writing to encompass her aspirations. They discussed potential ideas, ways to structure her posts, and the importance of consistency. Time slipped away like the rays of the sun setting outside, and when Sarah glanced at her watch, she was surprised to see the hour had passed so quickly. As she stood to leave, a newfound confidence surged within her. She had taken the first step on this journey, armed with the clarity that came from vulnerability. But as she left the cafe, she grappled with a new unsettling question: what would happen when she started sharing parts of herself that had long remained hidden, even from herself? Upon reaching home, she hesitated at the doorway. Lily's laughter filled the air as she played, and for a moment, Sarah felt anchored in purpose. The laptop beckoned her again, but this time it felt different, less like a daunting task and more like a portal to possibility. With determination nudged by counsel, Sarah sat down, her fingers poised over the keyboard, ready to write not just for herself but also for the hidden stories yearning to be told. What would she discover about herself in this process? Something deep inside whispered, real transformation waited just beyond this first post, and she had yet to scratch the surface. But as she began typing, another message from Mr. Thompson arrived, demanding her focus for the unfolding adventure ahead. How would it shift the direction of her newfound path? As dawn broke, the sun poured warmth into Sarah's tidy little apartment, chasing away the shadows of doubt that had clung to her for so long. Sitting at the kitchen table, she reflected on the rising tide of change washing through her life. Days spent writing and the support of Mr. Thompson had opened doors once thought inaccessible. She felt it blossoming within her, a solid confidence rooted not in bravado but in undeniable competence. Her mind danced with images of possibilities as she game-planned the day ahead. Today was significant. Today was the culmination of effort, ambition, and self-discovery. Sarah had been invited to speak at a local community meeting, a gathering centered on supporting women pursuing their dreams. Her journey from survival to thriving would soon morph into a shared narrative, a tale she had the privilege of telling. Lily dashed into the room, bringing with her an infectious enthusiasm. "Mommy, are you all ready for your big speech?" She beamed, eyes sparkling with pride. "I sure am, sweetheart," Sarah replied, leaning down to give her daughter a quick hug. "But the real magic comes from you, too. When I speak, I want to show everyone how tough and amazing you are." After a breakfast packed with positivity, Sarah made her way to the community center. As she entered the bustling room, nerves fluttered within, but they were swiftly countered by memories of her late-night writing sessions and the heartfelt feedback from Mr. Thompson. She had prepared meticulously, ready to engage and inspire those in attendance. When it was finally her turn to speak, the microphone felt hefty in her hand, yet her voice resonated with newfound authority as she stepped confidently into the light. "Hello, everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm a single mom, and like many of you, I've faced adversity. But I stand before you today not just as someone who exists within that struggle, I stand here as a testament to the beauty of resilience and the power of vulnerability." She glanced around the room, locking eyes with familiar faces, other women striving for acknowledgement, connection, and validation. With each word that flowed from her lips, she shared raw reflections of her life, the weight of societal judgment, her sleepless nights juggling priorities, and the moment she realized that it was okay to forge connections for growth. "I thought asking for help signified weakness, but I learned that it takes courage to be vulnerable. It's an act of strength to lean into emotion rather than shy away from it," she expressed passionately, her words connecting like threads across the room. As she shared her current undertaking, writing and embracing her voice, a ripple of enthusiasm ignited in the audience. Sarah's journey was tangible. She was a beacon of possibility, ready to embody not just survival, but authentic living. The room vibrated with understanding as many attendees began to nod affirmatively. After her talk, several women approached her, each sharing their own stories of struggle and triumph. As they connected and exchanged encouraging words, Sarah felt an unparalleled sense of belonging. This wasn't just about her anymore, it had transformed into a shared space of empowerment and authenticity. By the time she left the center, an overwhelming wave of fulfillment washed over her. Somewhere along her journey, she had transformed from being fearful of her vulnerabilities to embracing them fully. It was both liberating and intoxicating. Days turned into weeks, and as Sarah continued to write, share her story, and encourage others, tangible opportunities began to surface. She had secured freelance writing gigs that illuminated her passion, developing her reputation not just as a mother but as a voice advocating for single parents and resilience in the face of adversity. Mr. Thompson, honoring his earlier mentorship, stayed engaged in her development. Conversations turned to collaborations, and soon, he introduced her to networks of professional connections eager to mentor up-and-coming talents. His support, once cloaked in uncertainty, enhanced the clarity of her aspirations. One evening, seated together in a cozy cafe, Sarah looked up from her laptop, her heart brimming with gratitude. "You've really changed my perspective, you know. I didn't realize I had the power to conjure this life." Mr. Thompson smiled, genuine pride illuminating his expression. "But remember, it was always within you. I merely helped you rediscover it. Your courage has led you here, Sarah. You've accomplished more than you ever thought possible." As she left the cafe, purposeful strides propelled her forward. Sarah's identity had morphed from a mom solely trying to survive into a confident professional weaving her tale into the world. She carried the weight of determination like a badge of honor, a sentiment she once felt intangible and out of reach. The sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky a brilliant tapestry of oranges and pinks. A sense of indescribable happiness washed over her, tangible proof that embracing vulnerability had opened floodgates to possibilities beyond her imagination. Walking towards home, she felt every step resonate with the powerful truth she had internalized. She was now a creator of her destiny, fully aware of her capabilities and unafraid to chase her aspirations, both for herself and for Lily. This journey wasn't just a mere chapter in her life, it was a testament that she had achieved not merely survival, but a profound fulfillment that continually inspired her to embrace her beautifully complex narrative. And as she closed that day, uncertain shadows transformed into dreams once destined to remain dormant. Now, as she turned the key to their home, there was no doubt she had finally arrived, fully prepared to meet each new day with the strength of a story bravely being told. Do you believe in the power of reinvention? Then you need to subscribe now to this channel and embark on your own transformative journey. You have the chance to shape your story. Leave a like now to boost this community of courage and inspiration. We want to hear from you. Comment with your reactions and theories about Sarah's extraordinary conclusion. And if you know friends who need motivation, share this video instantly with at least 5 of them. This is the moment to show your support and uplift those seeking empowerment. Don't wait even one more second.